The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, this is freaking today, militiamen. My name is King Prime, and welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered action figure, that being the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered Yellow Ranger. Yes, our fierce warrior has finally reached us. I think this is actually the first LC figure that I got, but before we take a look at the figure and do that review, let's take a look at what it comes in. Of course, up at the front here, we do have a picture of the Yellow Ranger in that sort of rainbow eyes style, almost as if she is teleporting, as well as the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered trades. On the front there, we have another photo of the Yellow Ranger posing with the energy effects, as well as the name Morphin Yellow Ranger, plastic-free packaging, and Hasbro logos. Up at the top there, we have the 30th anniversary logo that, I said in every single review. I'm a year late. Sue me. On the top, we have Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered again. On the side, the original Mighty Morphin logo, as well as Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger. On the bottom, we have a photo of the Yellow Ranger morphing with her helmet on. And on the other side, we have a nice team shot of black, blue, green, yellow, red, and pink with the 30th logo again. On the back, again, 30th logo, as well as the Yellow Ranger morphing, same as on the side of the box, as well as everything that comes in the packaging with the figure. On the bottom there, we have our name, Trini Kwan, and Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger. On the bottom, some legal jargon, and that is about it. I say in every single video, my friends, but you only really care about the packaging if you're a box or card collector, which I'm not. I'm here to open and review toys, and that is just what I'm going to do. Freeze frame.
Sorry, but, we came here expecting to find a big ball of yarn. What could you possibly offer that would surprise us?
Freeze from unfreeze, and here is Trini out of the packaging. Before we take a look at her, let's take a look at what she comes with. Of course, the most prominent here being these large effects pieces of sort of that swirling, lightning, morphing energy that you're supposed to surround the Ranger with when they are morphing. I like to think that these are really good stand-ins for like Saiyan powering up techniques from Dragon Ball, and especially in yellow, that is what they look like. But they're perfectly effective pieces. Again, they don't tab together, they're not extremely detailed, they are just simply rubberized pieces of plastic, so it's nice that they're included anyway. Moving on, however, we do have, of course, the signature weapon of the Yellow Ranger herself, the Power Daggers, which look absolutely fantastic. As you can see, they are both picked out in silver and yellow paint, and as you can see, if you get in very close there is the saber-toothed tiger power coin sigil on either of the daggers, on both sides, in fact.
The one thing I will say is that it is missing a little bit of black paint on those ridge lines inside of the handle, but
obviously, being the figure, Trini can hold them. You just need to pull out the hand and slide the daggers in, and then do the exact same thing on the other side, and you have good dagger holding hands. Continuing on, however, we also have Blade Blaster in all three of its forms. Of course, we have the blaster form, the sword form, and then the holstered form. The blaster form can take a lightning collection effect piece, which I do not have handy. The sword can obviously be held, and the holster one can go in the holster. The only thing that I'm not too happy about with any of these is that they're missing a lot of black paint on the handles, and every single one of the Blade Blasters that have been released so far in this remastered line do as well. There's also some like really minuscule details, like that little eye right there on top of the Blade Blaster, right there where my middle fingernail is touching. There should be a little dot of paint there, but it's so small, I don't even know if it'd be able to be included. Of course, being weapons, Trini can hold them. Like I said earlier, just open the hand, put the weapon in, and turn it. You can do the exact same thing on the other side. However, I've just now, even in my initial inspection, I didn't notice this. I've just now noticed a defect in this hand. She doesn't have a thumb. Like, it's not folded down here or anything. There's just straight up not a thumb. That's interesting. It's cut off about halfway through the joint. That's wow. It can be held, just not as securely as the other Rangers would hold their weapons. She's not going to drop it. Of course, the holstered version can go right in the holster, and it will stay in there very snug and secure. I'll just keep it there for now. Moving on, though, Trini does also have two sets of hands. one of which obviously is for the Power Morpher, which, as you can see, is done up very nicely in silver, red, and yellow. There's, of course, yellow energy lines running through the center of it. And the saber-toothed tiger power coin is obviously visible in the middle there. It looks fantastic. In fact, that might be the best one I've seen on any of these figures. That one is absolutely perfect. You can, of course, put this on the right hand that is included to hold the morpher. As you can see, there are 3 curled fingers there. There's a hole in between that handle. Just slide the handle over the fingers, and you have a hand holding the morpher. You can then bring in Trini herself and take off her hands. Place those hands with the other alternatives, and get her in the best possible morphing pose by doing a little bit of elbow bending and swivel cheating. Of course, it's not perfect, but you can get a good enough facsimile of the morphing process in there with this figure. Also included is a pair of kind of combat hands, one left fist which is fully balled, and a karate chopping hand. You can also swap these by just unplugging those alternate hands and plugging in the combat variants to have a Trini that is ready to throw hands with any monster she encounters, which is very fun. Finally included in this set is the alternate head, or the helmet, which is just the White Ranger helmet, which is just the Yellow Ranger helmet. I think we've seen this a few times already. It feels like something's missing, but I don't think that the original Yellow Ranger helmet had a white or silver trim to it. It was just straight yellow, and then the black visor. It has the eyes on the top, as well as the silver on the nose and the 2 teeth, as well as obviously the mouthpiece. And you can simply just swap the head like so and put that helmet on there to complete the rangered up look, which looks fantastic. I don't think that there has been a bad sculpt with the helmets in this line so far that I've seen. Moving on to Trini herself, she is just an absolute spitting image of Thuy Trang. She looks absolutely fantastic from all angles. Though I truthfully don't remember the pigtails look all that much. I remember the straight hair to look a little bit more. This one is definitely reminiscent more of what I'm used to with seeing Trini. She obviously has the yellow hair bands on her pigtails, because obviously Yellow Ranger, yellow hair bands, it just makes sense. It's Power Rangers, we all know how it works. And that is about it for that. This is definitely the best portrait of any of the actors that I've seen so far. Hasbro absolutely nailed this head sculpt. Moving down onto the body itself, it is just the normal Mighty Morphin body that we're used to at this point, with the 3 diamonds on the front, 2 diamonds on the back, diamonds going all around the gauntlets, and all around the boot cuffs, which, you know, is pretty normal and known at this point. There's no big surprises here. And into the belt, obviously, it has the black lining on the holster and on the belt going all the way around. And as you can see, the morpher is again painted with that saber-toothed tiger power coin being prominently displayed. I've said it every review so far, but I wish that there was some way to swap out this belt buckle here so that we could have the morpher in the hand and not also on the belt at the same time, just to get rid of the anachronism. But every single solution that I've offered, including the electrical tape, will serve well as an alternative. Moving on to the articulation, however, Trini does have a fantastic range of motion at the head thanks to that dumbbell joint at the neck, the upper neck I should say. Unfortunately, this figure doesn't seem to be the new style of body that has the connector inside of the neck as well, so you can rotate the base of the neck with the head to get extra articulation only at the top. But that being said, there's a perfectly good range of motion that far down, that far up. Continuing though, Trini does obviously have a full range of motion at the shoulders. They can go all the way out and all the way around. She does also have very nice butterfly joints at her shoulder. As you can see, they go very far back, just like they did on Kimberly's, and only a little bit forward, which sucks, because if you just took a little bit more right out of here, you'd be able to have that fully forward motion like this far over instead of just like that far over, or really straight. You can't really get past straight all that much, which sucks and is a big missed opportunity by Hasbro and would make the morphing pose a lot easier to get into. She does also have an upper bicep swivel, which is kind of tight, as well as a double elbow bend. The female figures have a wrist or a cuff swivel, I should say, so that it can rotate at the cuff of the gauntlet. However, on this copy, along with the now thumbless hand that I have, I can only get about a few degrees of rotation on my gauntlet before it stops rotating. And as you can see in there, there's just a little bit of a plastic defect, which makes me believe that if I were to rotate that anymore without proper boiling and popping or heating with a hairdryer, it would snap or tear the joint, which I do not want. It's just something I'm going to have to mark as something against Hasbro. She does also have a diaphragm joint, so she can get her Ranger reps in, along with an ab crunch to further accentuate that bend. She can bend that far forward and arc that far back. Nothing at the waist proper, however, that is made up for by the drop down hips, which can go that far forward, about that far back before it starts going out, and then all the way out, so you can get the full splits so long as the blaster isn't in the holster. I don't think she can full Van Damme because the angles don't go that far, but she can get pretty damn close, especially if you have her like holding herself up. She can, definitely splay out pretty far. Moving down though, she does also have an upper thigh swivel as well as a double jointed knee, which we are used to at this point with the pinless figures. She does have a boot cut as well as a foot down, foot up, and a very nice ankle pivot as we've seen before. So even though there is a defect on my copy, the articulation is pretty good for this figure's release. Let's get some other figures in here to show exactly how Trini stands up to some others. Freeze frame.
Pussy not mine, this bitch for us. The gang is what I trust. Don't argue, we don't fuss. No talking, he get touched. I can't smoke my...
Freeze frame. In between takes, my heater came on, so I hope that's not drowning anything out too much. But to bring into some comparisons, here is Trini next to our previous Power Rangers Lightning Collection review. Kimberly, the Pink Ranger. Here she is next to Billy. Here she is next to Zach. And here she is next to a more standard 6-inch action figure, such as this Purge Trooper from the Black Series line. As you can see, she is, pretty standard height for the girl. She's a little bit taller than Kimberly, but other than that, she's, shorter than the Purge Trooper and both of the boys. So you can see that she's obviously of the lower stature, just like Kimberly, because they definitely do. That's enough for the size comparison. Let's move on to my final thoughts so I can tell you exactly what I think about Trini. Freeze frame.
Leave me alone!
Freeze to unfreeze. So overall, I think that were it not for the multiple defects that I received on this figure, I definitely would like the Yellow Ranger the most out of all of them. It also does not help that out of all the original 6 Rangers, Trini was my favorite. So it sucks that this is definitely the worst figure I've reviewed from the bunch this far, solely based on the QC alone. I know that QC has been a huge part of the problem when it comes to the Lightning Collection figures, and now that this figure is a year old and I only just opened it, I have to live with it for the rest of my life. I fortunately think that I can fix the problem with the gauntlet, but just by doing a simple boil and pop. However, the hand is something that I cannot fix no matter what. I can try to get a replacement part from Hasbro, but at this point I doubt I'll be able to, simply because the Lightning Collection doesn't exist in the form it did once before. That is not to say that this figure is wholly bad though. The Trini head sculpt is absolutely fantastic and a very touching tribute to Thuy Trang. If you can get a copy that isn't riddled with QC issues, I would say that this figure is worthy of any Trini fan's collection. So if you like Trini, or you like Yellow Rangers, or you like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you like Power Rangers in general, make sure you share this video with your friends, share the Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. It keeps helping the channel grow, keeps helping me pump out this content. That's going to be pretty much it for this time, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, peace.